Let's talk about this for a minute. Jade Raymond, who is the founder of Haven Studios, is leaving. The reason that she's leaving, apparently, reports are saying, is because the first external test of FairGames worried or had developers concerned. This is a very interesting thing because if you guys were paying attention just yesterday, Hiroki Totoki came out and was talking about how PlayStation was going to be implementing financial discipline unlike the past. The past with PlayStation so far is looking at this past fiscal year, or I guess I'll call it this past year, and you can already see that they're pretty much very intolerant from a financial perspective of any failures that can be comparable to Concord. Concord failed. This was a reality. It came out in a market where hero shooters were probably something that would need a specific execution for the audience. They pursued an audience that didn't exist, and FairGames looked like it was also gearing towards that same path down the road. GameSpot's James Cartwright, Jade Raymond leaves FairGame Studios, game now delayed to 2026, spring 2026. The founder of the Haven Studios had left the company, reportedly following concerns from developers over PlayStation's upcoming live service title. Interesting stuff. Jade Raymond, the founder and head of PlayStation-owned Haven Studios, has left the company ahead of the studio's first release. This reportedly comes after poor reception to a test of Haven Studios' first game, FairGames. Reportedly by Bloomberg, Raymond has left the company a few weeks after the first external place test for FairGames, the studio's upcoming live service multiplayer shooter. Some developers of the studio were reportedly concerned about FairGames' reception and the progress that had been made on the game. PlayStation did not provide a reason for her departure from Haven Studios, but did provide a statement to Bloomberg. Let's see. It says, Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios, a PlayStation spokesperson said in a statement. We're deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. Executive producer Marie-Eve Danis and head of production Pierre-Francois Sapinski will replace Raymond as co-studio heads moving forward, and PlayStation said it is committed to supporting the studio. Bloomberg also reports that as part of this, FairGames is moving from a fall 2025 release to spring 2026, putting it within Grand Theft Auto 6's release time of May 2026. FairGames is one of the few remaining live service games in production at PlayStation after the unreleasing of Concord and the canceling of Bluepoint's live service God of War project. Now, if you guys want to know what's going on, Jade Raymond is not a nobody in the gaming industry. This lady is pivotal for some feats such as Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Watch Dogs. She was also the lead of a Star Wars game project called Ragtag, which was at EA and was canceled. This is very strange in the whole comprehension of things. What is going on within PlayStation? I strongly believe that they are trying to navigate their way back to sanity. When Hiroki Totoki took over, there had to be, in my opinion, kind of this optimization that would have gone on. Basically, optimization of the money that they spend. A lot of these projects that have been greenlit right now, that have been in production for a good amount of time, that seemingly may overstay their budget, would probably have to get what I think is a much more closer supervision to ensure that they don't go and scale into the Marvel Spider-Man 2 range. Think about $315 million. Think about that's what you basically are going to spend to make a game. If the game's return is not going to be doing, say, a significant number, it's going to be hard to convince anybody to want to put money towards that. The other thing is, where are they going to get the money from? This is not, there's no tree that money is falling from. External investors who were demanding all kinds of stuff that you got to see in Concord have basically calmed down, seeing as they were losing money faster than they could actually think about how they're going to go ahead and reshape or force behaviors. So now everybody is behaving themselves. Everybody is now coming to terms with the reality that, hey, we're making games for human beings and not machines anymore. So all of these multi-million dollars that we've wasted in the past, it seems like we're going to have to desire return on investment rather than infinite investment to just make it seem like we're a company that continues to go and people are going to be held accountable. Simply because even while they were given all this money, these companies should have been smart enough to make side projects that would have kept them afoot. Because now, what are they going to do with FairGames? When people saw Concord, immediately FairGames got hit with cold water. There's no doubt about that. I mean, think about you getting to see Concord. You're like, I don't know about this game. Then the game gets unlaunched in front of you. Like the game gets unreleased. Dude, what kind of confidence are you giving your own audience when you unrelease a title? Like when you do that, they didn't even show any sign of, well, we're going to just anthem this bad boy. We're going to, continue to put in effort. No. They just literally closed down this thing, gave everybody their money and walked away. However you may have tried to paint that signaled a lack of confidence in their product and signaled to the audience that these guys cannot be worth our confidence. Hence, Marathon, cold water reception. FairGames, everybody folded their hand and looked and said, I wonder what's going on. And what you need to basically look at is you got to look at the gaming industry and you got to look at the data available. This is not something that a lot of people want to talk about, but the gaming industry is kind of cooked simply because there are people who went into the industry at a time where they found sustainable business in live service games and invested in it and did not back away from their investment. They saw the money coming in and they stayed focused. And their focus has put them in a very interesting and precarious situation where they seemingly just don't want to leave. For instance, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, the NBA games, Roblox, FIFA games, WWE 2K games, who they roll out a new version every year in some of these games. And then once in a while, you have your Game Pass kind of make its way in there as well, because Xbox saw potential with Game Pass and shoved it in. It is also another perpetual money hug in this particular, economy and this industry. As much as Twitter may try to tell you, oh, it's better for you to buy your games, Twitter doesn't buy as many games as they try to claim to actually buy because they're full of fugazis. They're a small minority of people that don't live in anywhere outside of their bubble, but there are 30% of gamers who will not buy a video game, according to Matt Piscatella. This particular reality is now facing everybody. So live service games and live service paradigms of you coming to the market, bringing a game for $40 and expecting people to buy it to then go ahead and buy more is a huge ask. When there are other games like Marvel Rivals that are getting the job done without any problems and pretty much putting themselves on the table and beating everybody out of, sense. It's a very interesting time, ladies and gentlemen, and PlayStation is coming here. And again, I have to point to something very important. As much as anybody wants to go ahead and laugh at it, PlayStation built this world that they're living in. Their resources, they spent blocking, money-hatting games, doing deals, creating entire departments and divisions to go out there and go find gems from third-party publishers, games that do not belong to them, and then leverage those games to make their platform look good, but the facade is going away. Gamers ain't buying games. Nobody wants to go ahead and just give you money for nothing. People are playing free-to-play games, and now you barely have any IP that is recognizable to who you are. Can y'all believe that Factions was canceled? Is anybody here thinking with me like Factions was canceled? This is crazy. Factions should have been or could have been given to another team, and they could have made a big deal out of it. They could have made it a Naughty Dog fiasco. This unrelenting game that people already enjoyed and built out of it. Grounded is a small game. Grounded is not such a big game, right? That's what they could have done with a game like that. And it would have been a PlayStation IP that has the live service element that they're looking for. And rather than spending all of this money on another studio, on another set of efforts, and then closing all of it down, you would have had something from the ground running built with your community. What a waste. And I'm sure PlayStation fanboys, you come in the comment section and tell me that I'm being negative to PlayStation. I know you agree with me. You agree with me. You just won't say it, though, because you want to kowtow to some corpo and make your so-called preferred platform look bigger than it is. While so-called PlayStation fanboys laughed at Xbox for having games like Grounded and Sea of Thieves, y'all can't even keep a game in production long enough with the exact same team, or at least the leadership team in place, without having to do all kinds of rigmarole. There's a lot of doubt now. And you guys were all championing it, and you said, what do gamers care? They just care where the game is on, so they're going to buy a PlayStation to play Final Fantasy. You said that. Now live in your fantasy that you have supported and PlayStation has created. I'm out.